This podcast, episode 19.
Yeah, the thumbnail might say 18, but we will fix that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really guarantee it's 19. I have a hard time keeping track.
Yeah, there's just so many episodes going. We got to stop numbering them and just that's it. Just name them. But
Or we could go to 20 and then be like, that's the end of season one.
yeah, that we could do that. That's actually a good idea. That's what
Yeah.
we'll do. But today we're going back to um basically, I guess our roots. We're going back to video games here, and we're gonna have a special episode for everyone today. So Dan, break the episode in for everyone who's not watching.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the console that, at least for me, was one of my first exposures to playing video games, at least at a large level capacity. And the console we're talking about is going to be N64, and we are going to be talking about our personal top 10 favorite N64 games of all time.
Absolutely, absolutely. It should be a fun episode. I think you and I will probably have similar list. I would say. I'm gonna assume our
I
list might
think
be similar.
I think so. I tried to kind of follow your regular criteria and just go with the games that I played the most of, the ones I've seen myself going back to over the years. So there's
Yeah,
definitely a couple of mine that are like shocking I left off. Definitely doesn't mean I don't think they're great games. Just I don't play them as much as others.
yeah, absolutely. And that's how we do it here. We go off our nostalgic base of what video games that we loved growing up and playing, and not so much what the consensus media likes. But I have a lot of big hitters on mine because I love playing them, day in and day out. But Dan, let's get started with your number 10.
All right, I'm gonna kick it off with a game that I believe I talked about briefly on our fighting game list. I believe, and my number 10 is going to be the original Super Smash Bros.
Oh yeah, what a great game that is. And you know what, guys? I'm not gonna lie, that's on my list as well. So let's just talk about it together then as that the number 10 for both of us.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a dream game when it came out. I mean, N64 is one of the first times we got to see these beloved characters in 3D and getting them all together in one game and a fighting game, have them battle it out for supremacy. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
I think you described it in our top fighting games episode, that opening monologue when the toys are just laying there and then they
Yeah.
come to life. Truly a kid's dream, like you just said, right?
Yeah, and like you were talking about the intro there, the master hand comes and picks them up and they come to life, and then he ends up being the final foe at the end. It's kind of like the perfect foe too. It's almost like he's fighting you playing with the toys almost like
Yeah, it's but the crazy thing about this game,
oh lagging a little bit.
the story mode is great, but the best part is the sleepovers, um, the late nights, the junk food, and just hanging out with your buddies and fighting each other with some of the greatest gang of characters in one game. Like you said, it was like a dream come true. We have all Nintendo's big hitters in this, in this game when you get to battle to see who is, the best. Do you remember your favorite character who you used all the time?
Oh yeah, I think I mentioned it in our fighting game episode too, and it was DK, and I used that cheap grapple move where he put you on your back and then just suicide jump. You can just get one kill advantage on a guy, and then just try to do that as many times as possible after.
Yeah, my guy was Captain Falcon. Falcon
Oh,
punch.
oh, yeah, he's one of
But
the. Is he the first guy you unlock? I think he is, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and let me ask you something here quick. This is going to be kind of controversial, but just in your opinion here, the days of going to your friend's house and sleeping over and just gaming, it's pretty much dead now. Online has pretty much taken over. I know your stance on this, but just tell the people, in your opinion, did online kill the gaming industry, and not kill the gaming industry, but kill what gaming was?
Yeah, I mean, I would say so, but I mean, I was a guy that was yelling it was going in that direction like way back in like 360 days, maybe even before that. Like, I saw the way it would catch on as a fad certain games, and it's like people weren't really enjoying the depth of these games. They were enjoying the competitive nature, almost like the same thing you see in adults gambling. You see a children's addiction to like online gaming. It's not even about the appreciation of the game. It's just like the competition, racking your stats, and yeah, just in the wrong direction, away from couch co-op, couch battling it out with your friends, and more
Yeah.
towards microtransactions and trying to get people to buy the better guns on shooting games and shit like that.
Yeah, I always look at both sides of it, but for me, um, for the real, like what I feel gaming is, what we grew up on was, loading up the console, going to your friend's house, and then just passing that sweaty controller around. You have the junk food, you have your sodas, and you guys are just getting down to business. But again, we also used to talk about when we were young, oh, wouldn't it be nice? I can't come over today. It would have been so nice if somehow I can play with you while you were playing at home. So, online gaming totally has evolved gaming, but it's just like anything. We just missed that nostalgic feeling of I had to go to your house. If you had Super Smash Bros, that I was going to your house because
Yeah,
that's what we were playing, right? Like it's just like now, a lot of older kids ourselves, people older than us, always reminisce about Blockbuster and all these great movie rental places and newer, the newer generation goes, wow, why would you guys want to do that? But it's the feeling of going out on the Friday, Saturday, and just looking through, the store full of movies. You get to look at, the front of the VHS cases, DVD cases, video game boxes, and not knowing what you're choosing, and you're just going off a whim of just reading the back and what the cover art was, right? And it's a feeling, honestly, we all miss, but we're so glad for how easy life is now for a lot of those things.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. The blockbuster thing is kind of the thrill of the hunt, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of taken away when it's all in your lap.
Yeah, and like I have the new Xbox, but it doesn't even have a disc tray, so I have to just buy all my games online, right? So I don't even get a physical copy. I just get it online. So we're talking about when you or me, our parents used to take us to the store, we buy our game. The first thing we did was rip it open, look at the disc, look at the cover art, and pull that booklet out. Now there's no booklet, it's just you just get jumped right into the game. So it's both sides of the fence. If gaming, online gaming hurt, what gaming really was, but it has also improved it. So, Dan, number nine, because we both had. I think we're gonna have
Oh,
some of
there's
the
a
same
10.
games.
You have that 10 as well?
No, but I had it on my list, so it makes sense to just talk about it
You
at the
do.
same
Okay.
time, right? I
Okay.
think I had it at number seven. So.
You got number 7. Well, give me your number 10 then.
You want me to go next? Okay. So my number 10 is a video game that really changed my childhood. And I had no idea that this even existed. I didn't know what it was and until I played this video game. And I'm talking about 1999 to 2000s Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Oh, yes.
And
Yes.
that
Excellent
is
pick.
that's my number 10. I had no idea what skateboarding was. I was obviously a young child. I was lived in Toronto. I moved up to Innisfil and I got introduced to this game and just fell in love with skateboarding. But if we're talking about Tony Hawk, Pro Skater. What a game that really changed the culture. I find a lot of, in Canada, especially in the States, skateboarding was pretty big. But in Canada, a lot of people didn't know about it. And once this game got released, everybody was a skater, right?
Absolutely.
Everyone wanted
Absolutely.
to skateboard. I was on that boat. I remember getting my first skateboard in grade three, and it took off from there until grade seven, eight, when I stopped skateboarding. But what a great game this is! It's ingrained in my mind, the music, the soundtrack of any Tony Hawk game. But this had a fantastic soundtrack, It had great levels. You had the hangar, you had the school, you had the warehouse, the mall, the skate park, you had the Burnside ramp, and then you had great characters. You had Bob Burnquist, Kareem Campbell, Bucky Lasky, Chad Muska, Andrew Reynolds, Elisa Steamer, I think it was, Jamie Thomas. You can unlock Officer Dick. So
Yeah, concert Dick.
just a fantastic game. You go around collecting videotapes and spelling out the word skate. You have a time interval. I think it was like 2 minutes, but it was great to play that. And then along when your friends play and you guys just, just skating and having fun, man. Did you ever play Tony Hawk? I'm assuming, I know you did, but
Oh, I didn't catch that. You cut out a little bit.
oh, I was saying, did you ever play Tony Hawk a lot?
Oh my God, yes, yeah. So you're talking mostly Tony Hawk One. I
Yeah, I'm talking Tony Hawk, the Pro Skater. Yeah.
I have Tony Hawk Pro Skater on my list, but I have a different one. I have it a little
Oh,
bit
okay.
higher. But
Yeah.
absolutely, I played the first one quite a bit too. I think you mentioned unlocking Officer Dick. You could also unlock Gene Simmons, couldn't you?
I don't know if he was in number one. I can't remember.
Or maybe only on PlayStation, maybe or something like
Yeah, it
that.
might have been something like that. But for me, like this number one came on my list because this introduced me to skateboarding. Like
Yeah,
Bob Byrne, it introduced me to, the cast of characters. I always used to use Bob Burnquist. But then as I got older into skateboarding, Kareem Campbell was my guy. He was the king of the hard flips. He'd hard flip everywhere. Obviously, I'm not, black, but I, you know, connected with him as he was like a darker skinned skateboarder in these video
yeah.
games. You didn't really see him, and I connected as him with him. So he really put me in the skateboarding, and that was my life for so long. And this game is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it was a phenomenon. It made Tony Hawk a fuck ton of money.
Yeah, he made more in the video game than he did as being a pro skater.
Yeah, I can totally believe it because those games just sold insane. Like
Yeah, and
for
then
years,
when Tony Hawk's Underground and Underground 2 came out, whoo, when you could
yeah,
make your own character, oh man,
both
I
great games. Well, it
great.
just gave it a whole other dimension when you could actually get off the skateboard too.
Yeah, that was the one thing that was missing in this game. Like you couldn't get off the skateboard, and sometimes it sucked to have the time events because you just wanted to skate around and play. But
I
all
like
in
the
all,
arcadey feel of it though. It's almost
yeah,
like being like, "Hey, how come I can't get out of the car in Crazy Taxi?"
yeah. Or Drive. Remember Driver? In the first one, you couldn't get out of the
Oh
car.
yeah, yeah, you can get yeah.
But anyways, Dan, I guess give me your number nine.
My number
Favorite,
nine.
favorite to Tony Hawk game.
No, I got Tony Hawk quite a bit higher. My number nine is please Star Wars Episode One Pod Racer.
I figured you were gonna have this on your
I
list.
knew I knew you didn't know I was going to have that. I mean, I've been playing the remastered version in recent years because they had that come out on the last gen.
Oh,
Um,
just to say too, Tony Hawk's Pro Skate and Pro Skater 2 was remastered as well.
yes, yeah, I had a remastered version on Xbox, but then they have the remastered version for the last console as well. Both
Yeah.
very good.
So tell me a little
But
bit about Pod Racer because
Pod
I
Racer.
know you love
Oh,
this game.
this game highlighted the best part of Phantom Menace. No matter what you think of Phantom Menace, you can't deny that pod racing is badass.
Yeah.
And that's all this game is, so you can't go wrong. Gets you familiar with all the different cast of characters of all the from the entire pod race. You know, the extended pod race scenes in Star Wars, you see a lot of these guys a lot more. But at the time when all you seen was the theatrical cut, and then maybe if they played it on TV once in a while or something like that, you didn't have that extended version until like DVDs came out. So this was like a way to familiarize yourself with all these different pod racers. And yeah, I can remember my favorites still. I used to play to start. I'd always play as Odie Mandrell, and then when I would unlock Mars Glow, I would run with Mars Glow forever. Mars Glow is the guy that Sebulba, he lets
Yeah.
go the fucking thing and it goes in his engine. That's my boy.
That's
Did you
a
ever play this game?
I did play it, but I'm not really into racing games too much, like that
You
kind
weren't
of
into
race
Star
game.
Wars back then either.
Yeah, no, I wasn't into Star Wars, but I did play What's that one Star Wars?
Shadows of
I
the
can
Empire.
yeah, I can picture it with the stormtrooper on the cover.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
yeah,
And you're
yeah,
on Hoth right at the beginning.
yeah. That's a
Another
great game.
excellent game.
That's a great
Fuck,
game. So
you
let's
bring that
do
up, made
this
me
then.
rethink my entire list.
We'll do this quick because we do this with the movie. So give the game a rating out of 10, what you feel. So
Okay.
let's just rate Super Smash Bros. First, because that was both our number 10s, we'll say.
Okay. 10 being a complete masterpiece and 1 being complete garbage. I'll give the original Super Smash Bros. A solid 7.9.
Okay, I was gonna go about an 8.2.
8.2. Okay,
So
we're in the
we're
same
close. We're
range.
close. We're close. Okay, so I'll go Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I'll give it a 6.9.
Ooh. I will give Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I'll give it an 8. I'm going to put it above Smash
Well, you're
Bros.
gonna give it an 8. Wow. Well, it's very it
Revolutionary.
really turned the tide. Yeah, like
Yeah,
it really changed the culture. It was a culture changing video game for sure.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we're gonna give Pod Race.
Well, it's a personal favorite of mine, but doesn't stack up to those other games. I will
No,
give
but
it.
you personally, what do you give Pod Race? Not
Well,
it's
you
not
know where I
we're not
rank personally. I like to be unbiasedly when I think if I'm suggesting it to another person, I'll say 6.2. But
okay.
if it was my personal, yeah, I would be definitely in the eights. I fucking love this game. Um, yeah, fuck, unlocking all the characters. Like I said, unlocking all the characters, seeing all the different tracks. Fucking can't beat it in a Star Wars game, especially in a Star Wars racing game. Can't beat pod racing.
Yeah, do you remember when I got into Star Wars in high school or a little bit afterwards
Oh,
and I would invite you what?
oh, you
Can
cut
you hear
out
me?
there.
Oh, okay, do you remember when I got into Star Wars and I would invite you guys over and I had the Bose sound system around the whole living
Oh
room
my
and we
god, you're
were
cutting out again.
am I cutting out?
You
What
had
the
what? What did you have?
Okay, hold on. Remember when I started getting into Star Wars and I had the Bose speakers set up all
Oh
in the living
yeah,
room, and we
yeah.
would just come over and we'd crank that up to just watch the pod race.
That's the best scene of that whole movie. The lightsaber battle is pretty good at the end, but that's pretty much other than those two scenes. It's just weird alien racism.
All right, so let me give you my number 8 then, because
Number eight.
I already gave you number 10 we shared, and then number 9 Tony Hawk. So number 8 comes a game. I know you know it's on my list, and it's ingrained in my memory because it was the game we were playing at my birthday party before I got my Xbox.
Yes.
And that is 1998's Vigilante 8.
Oh, what a great game! And you put it
We
at eight
didn't,
too.
for N64 fans, we didn't get Twisted Metal. We wanted Twisted Metal. We wanted that clown and that ice cream truck. We never got it. We wanted Samoa Joe, and we didn't get Samoa Joe. But this is a great, fantastic vehicle assault game. It's set in 1975. Basically, a guy named Sid Burns and his team of hitman, the Coyotes, are hired by this group called Omar to destroy oil companies so they can have the richest oil company. So there's characters. You have your vigilantes, and then you have your coyotes. I remember I used to just use John Torque all the time. I think his vehicle was the Jefferson vehicle, but he was just the black guy. So
I know
I
the guy you're talking about. Yeah, he's like
I just
Shaq,
used them.
kind of.
Yeah. So I just used them all the time. Endless fun in this game. Again, a great party game. You know, N64 had so many great party games when you can get, split screen going. You can play with your brother, your friends, when you have a sleepover. And just like we did when we had my birthday party, we were playing this game until the gifts came and we opened up my Xbox. So at number 8 comes Vigilante 8. Did you ever play Vigilante 8? Not at my party, but at your house.
Yeah, actually, like that's kind of what I think I had rented it a couple times from our local video flicks there before I played at your house, maybe, or maybe it was just after. But yeah, those were like my first exposures to it, and it was a game I tried to get my hands on later on in life, but I think I never ended up doing it. I think I just played on emulation and stuff,
Yeah.
and I think I actually had trouble finding a good emulation for it. But you
Yeah.
mentioned your guy. My guy was always the evil Knievel looking dude with the sidecar on his bike.
But lots of great levels in this too. You battle out in the ski resort,
Yeah,
uh,
he was
a
awesome.
a valley farm, canyon lands, aircraft, a graveyard, oil fields, obviously, Casino City, Hoover Dam. So there's a lot of great places to battle. I want to ask you though, did you ever play? I don't know, it wasn't for N64, but I know it was for, I want to say PS2, but there was a WWE game that was like
Oh
this.
yeah, yes. I think it was on PSP as well, wasn't it? It was like
Was it?
Rush.
Okay.
What was it called? Was it called like Rush Hour or something like that? Or
Yeah, WWE Rush Hour or something like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
That was a
Yeah, I
good
never
game
played much
too.
of it, but I played a little bit of it. I think at our old friend Nick's house.
Yeah, so I'm gonna rate Vigilante 8 if I'm going on a top scale of the best games, whatever. I'm gonna give it about a 6.6. That's what I would give it, yo. 6.6, 6.7, I would say.
You ever wonder? I think I've heard somebody else bring it up before, but do you ever wonder why it's called Vigilante 8 when there's no Vigilante 1 through 7? Like I never questioned that as a kid. Then I'm like, yeah, why the
Yeah.
fuck is it 8?
I bet if you look into it, you'd probably find out.
As there 8 guys on each team or something? I don't know. I don't know. There's
All
eight.
right, buddy. What's your next one?
So
We're
I'm at number
flying.
8 as well. So my
Number eight.
number 8,
We're
my number
flying and
8.
we're all over the place. You know what fucked us up was when we do that and you have the same game and I have the same game and then we talk about it at the same time. It just fucks us up.
Yeah. Well, my next one I think you might have as well, to be honest. Well, maybe not. I think a lot. I think some people are torn about this game because I think some people enjoy the predecessor a lot more, and I think a lot of people like the newer ones a lot more. But obviously, being the age we are, I hold Mario Kart 64 in very high. That's high regards, and that is why I have it at number 8. You must have
I
played this
act-
game, I'm sure, a lot growing up.
I did play it, but I actually don't have it on my list.
Oh, you don't? Yeah, I mean that's what I like. A lot of people don't look at it as necessarily a great game. I think it really depends on what memories you have with it. I think it is a really good game, like especially as a kart racer. I find it still replayable even to today.
Yeah.
Um, I know. I mean, some of the more newer ones are definitely more updated and easier to pick up and play now. But yeah, I still really enjoy this game. I think graphically it holds up as good as any N64 games do. The nice cartoon graphics and still has a nice array of characters to choose from. Can't compare to the new games, but I think it really laid the groundwork for a lot of the new games being the first 3D installment in the series.
Yeah, like we're gonna bring up probably a few Mario games, but it's like we went from, the 2D Mario Kart, the 2D Mario jumping on blocks. Me and you, we played it, but we were watching our brothers for sure.
Yeah.
And it's like when we hit this 3D era, it's mind blowing. And we see Mario and a bunch of characters on the cards racing on the track. Everything just looks unbelievable compared to what we were playing on the Super Nintendo. But a very good game, very straightforward.
Yeah.
A very straightforward kart racer. The game I have on my list instead of that game is offers for me a bunch of different challenges and stuff. That's why I put it on here because I played it a lot more. But we will get to that game soon.
I think I have a feeling of what game you're thinking of. Uh,
It's not. It might be Mickey Mouse Racer, man.
oh, isn't Mickey Mouse Racers not a bad game? Is it?
That's actually not bad either.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought that was a pretty decent game. But
And
yeah,
it
I
was
mean, I don't.
expensive. Like even when
Man,
that game came out, I remember it was like $20 or $30 more than a regular.
really,
Like yeah, it
that's
was
weird.
crazy.
Weird. But yeah, I mean, yeah. So I don't really need to jump into Mario Kart
No,
64 much more. Everybody knows that great levels, great characters, a classic for 64, and that's why I got a number 8. And I'll be willing to give that a 7.8 rating.
yeah, I find so. My number 7. Again, I'm not going to jump into really explaining this game because these are a lot of big hitters. Everyone's played them. And that
Yeah.
comes. I'm gonna actually take the third installment, and that is Mario Party 3. I think
Nice,
it
man. Part
I
three.
I think it came out in 2000. Again, we were born in 93. We did game, but little to very little, you know what I mean? We just really watched our brothers play. But in that, I would say about 97 to 2000, that's when I was able to start gaming and understanding the controller and, get good at it. And this was one of the games that we would play all the time. This is any Mario Party game, it doesn't matter what it is essential to a weekend sleepover, especially for an N64 fan. We used to put in countless hours in Mario Party 3. That was the one we had. We had Mario Party 2 as well. Mario Party 3 is just a little step up, I find. It gives you, I think it has like over 60 mini games. So it's a great array of fun games, great array of characters, endless fun. You can still put in any Mario Party game and you would enjoy yourself. Like if me and you, the guys got together and we put in Mario Party, we would probably be playing it for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with like fun party mini games, and then you put that cover of Mario over top of it. It's kind of just like in like the mini games in Pokemon Stadium are awesome. The Mario Party ones are epic. It's just you can't fuck up mini games. Then you add those characters in it, and you add
Mhm.
the board game feature aspect of it.
Yep,
It's just it's
absolutely.
just an awesome game, and like you said, super replayable. Like most people, I think when they go back to play old Mario Party, they play like GameCube era just because graphically it holds up a little bit better. But you can go back and play these games, and they still are fun as fuck.
Yeah, absolutely. And the difference here with the N64 to the PlayStation is N64 had so many party games.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was just endless fun, 4 controller hookups, and that's all you needed to have a really great night. So it was playing Mario Party, drinking your pop, eating your pizza until your parents went to bed, and then we'd all sneak on and put the porno on. But
Did we all do that?
maybe you didn't, maybe you didn't. But
I just kept playing Nintendo.
you were that one kid that couldn't get off the controller when all the guys were searching up porn on the computer. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna give Mario Party an 8 out of 10. I just think it's endless fun, endless playability. We can go back, like I said, right now and play it, and we would enjoy the fuck out of it. So, Mario Party 3 for me gets an 8.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely, definitely eight worthy. That was your what number seven?
That's number 7, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
the lists are all fucked up now because I fucked it up with Switch and Super Smash Bros. I always fuck up my
Uh,
list. For the viewers who don't watch, somehow, some way, I fuck my list up.
Wait, Smash Bros was originally seven, or
Yeah, Smash Bros was 7 for
okay?
me, but when you brought it up, I just fucking brought it up.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, my number seven is another game I know you played, and I think a forgotten game of N64. I think I might have brought it up one time before, but that is Spider-Man 64.
Oh, yes, another great game. Even on the PlayStation, this game is really good.
Yeah, I would actually like. I grew up with the 64 version, but I would probably say the PlayStation one is superior because it actually has the video cinematics. The 64 one it still works because the cinematics they're just pictures you flip through it, but still it feels like you're just like reading a comic, so it kind of works.
Yeah,
Gameplay wise, they're pretty similar. But yeah, it's just a cool game. Again, like you had some Spider-Man games on Super Nintendo, some good, some bad. This is your first exposure to Spider-Man on in 3D, and you get a good variety of villains. You get to, especially the real staples. You get your Doc Ock, your Venom, Scorpion, Carnage.
oh yeah,
Most of them are all there. Cameos from other superheroes. Just a really good game. Even some commentary by Stan Lee.
yeah,
Part
and open world, like a nice open world. You can do a lot of cool things in it. Run around the streets, climb buildings,
Well,
swing.
technically, you can't run around the streets. I remember
Oh,
that's the
oh
funny thing.
no, this is the one you can't.
No, no, because you're thinking of like the one for Xbox.
Oh, okay. I'm
No,
off. I'm off.
because I mean the 64 graphically couldn't really handle rendering like the full city at that point. So they basically all the levels you're on rooftops, swinging
Yeah.
between
Okay. Yeah.
rooftops, and the
Yeah.
way they get around how they can't render the ground in the lower part of the building is having a villain release this gas into the city. So all you see is this cloud of like a
Yeah.
yellow mist.
Now I remember because you can only
Yeah,
see so much. Yeah.
yeah,
But a great fun game though. Spider-Man actually on. It's funny, like we get Batman games, and they were bad for a long time until like Arkham Asylum came out, and those games that were really good. But Spider-Man always had consistently pretty good games throughout, its catalog to what we have now, right? But a lot of those Super Nintendo ones we brought up was by LJN, and they were bad.
yeah. They were Maximum Carnage though. Maximum Carnage,
Yeah,
solid. Still
that
very
that is.
frustrating times.
So what do we rate Spider-Man for N64? And again, came in a red cartridge.
Yes, and Activision, which is why he also got a guest appearance in one of the Tony Hawk games.
Yeah, that is also true.
Yeah,
Probably probably the Tony Hawk game you're gonna be picking.
that's right. That's right. You got it. But I will give Spider-Man 64 7.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, my number six, right? We're
Number
at
6.
number six. We're at number
Yeah,
six already. Holy fuck! Usually we're at only like number eight right now.
it's not
But
bad. We're still on track to be as fast as we were talking about being, but
yeah.
whatever.
But I find this podcast right now for some reason we're just all over the place. I don't know why. It feels like we're just kind of like rushed or something. But number six for me, again, it's a game I don't really have to explain too much. I know it's definitely on your list. Um, as a '90s kid growing up, if you didn't love Pokemon, something was wrong with you. And this was the complement to young kids who are really bad at gaming. Even Spider-Man, Vigilante 8, some of these games we brought up was very hard for younger kids to game, but this game was simple, it was slow paced, and I'm talking about Pokemon Snap. Um, just a beautiful game. But Dan, when I'm talking about the gameplay it being slower, there you go. See, and he's got the
Got the
Spider-Man.
keychain.
But tell me a little bit about what made Pokemon Snap easier to play than some of those, the harder games for younger kids like us. It was a lot slower. Obviously, when you wanted to, catch a secret or whatever, you had to be fast with the trigger, but it was very slow paced and it just flowed so beautifully.
Yeah, it's very therapeutic.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's appeals to younger kids because, yeah, you might not be able to get those great shots. You might not be able to progress through the game as quickly as an older player. But young kids could play this and like you get through the mission no matter what. Nothing's gonna
Yeah.
like kill you. You're not gonna get a game over. Like either
And
way, you're gonna get through the mission. You're gonna get to see Pokemon. You get to take pictures.
and the
Like
great thing is the replay value as a kid till now, you can keep going and going, and there's always something different that you probably never noticed before. And
yeah,
you could throw the ball in this bush or an apple here or there, and this Pokemon comes running out, and maybe it's a Meowth. What if I throw it at him? What picture can I get? What if I feed this? What if I throw this? And it's so many cool things you can do in this game. And like you've said it before, it also brought in the character into the TV show. So
yeah,
it
yeah.
was
I forgot about that.
it was so well done. Um, I never played the newer one. My nephew had it, but I never got a chance to play it. But the older one holds a special place in my heart. I know it holds a special place in your heart. So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna give Pokemon Snap, and I'm gonna give it a nostalgic view as being a Pokemon fan, um, having a reference also to the TV show later on, and just being a fun game with so many hidden Easter eggs. I'm gonna give it an 8.3. I think it's the highest one we've rated, but for our generation, this was a really, really fun game. Obviously, there's Pokemon Stadium, but when you go to the Battle Tower, it's hard.
Fuck
You
yeah.
get past, you get past the first. a few guys, and then it just gets really hard. This was just fun, slow. You take your pictures, did you take a good shot? How much was it worth? Whatever, whatever. And then you can go back and replay the level and find secrets. Just a fun game. So Pokemon Snap is number 6 for me.
I got to bring up when we're talking Pokemon Snap. One of my most cherished memories as a child was the fact that they had that partnership with Walmart's where you could go in, take your save file, and actually
Oh
develop
yeah,
your characters from the game.
yeah,
Oh,
very,
that was awesome.
very cool, very cool. So that's a great game. I know it's probably going to be on your list. I'll be shocked if it's not,
Oh,
honestly.
it's on there. It's on there.
But give me your number 6 then.
Okay, my number 6 might be on yours too, might not be. One of the most obvious titles on N64, recently remastered in the last couple of years, and it's 007 GoldenEye.
Just unbelievable, revolutionary for the
Yeah,
shooters to come. And I know people always like, oh, why does everyone bring up 007? That's why. It was
yeah,
revolutionary to the shooters to fucking come. That is why older heads love this game. I said it before in a previous podcast. I did buy the remastered version. It was like $1, and I played it through. The controls are smooth. The
yeah,
music is great. You know, the fucking how hard it is perfect.
yeah,
It's a great, great game. And what made it so much fun younger when you get the cheat codes, you have big
yeah.
head mode, invisibility.
Oh,
Yeah, there's so many cool, cool things you can do. So explain to me, Dan, why you love this game so much.
uh, yeah, just the endless memories I have with it. It's a combination of things really about the game. Like the levels are incredible. Like all the
Right.
levels. Like I could not play this game for 15 years, and I could still probably name off most of the levels.
Yeah,
Uh,
and you can envision it. Like you can just
yeah,
envision the levels in your head. And another great thing, I know you're gonna bring it up, was the split screen.
yes, yes, of course. Yeah, the
What
best at the time. It was uncomparable as a shooter split screen for its time.
Yeah, and then if you have that golden gun, fucking cheap
Oh,
motherfuckers, yo.
we're odd job. Old
Yeah.
odd job is the cheapest motherfucker. He's just below everybody. With aim
But
down for every shot.
such a fantastic game. And it's funny because in some of the levels when you're going through, like when you're in Russia and it's so dark, and I was trying to navigate through it, and like I'm like, where am I going? And you kind of
Got
just
that
have to
brightness on
feel,
the TV.
yeah, you just have to feel the level out.
Got
Just
you.
such a fantastic game, so well done. What do you give this game out of 10, Dan? Because
Uh,
this is one of the best shooters of all time.
yeah, I'm giving this no lower than a 9.5.
Yeah, just unbelievably a great game, man. I still love coming through the vent, and then you're in the bathroom and you open up the stalls and pop, pop, pop.
You shoot his hat off first and then shoot him
Yeah.
in the head. Imagine me on the shitter and you're like, oh, my hat. Oh, and then shot.
The funny thing is in this game though, like once you kill one guy and then they all come, you just have to go in a room and they all start opening the door and you just
Yes, yes. Like 300, just funnel them through the one passage.
but they keep responding, man. It's like endless.
Oh,
They
yeah.
just keep
Oh,
responding
yeah.
and responding. But such a
There's
great
one,
game.
there's one face model that looks identical to the face model of Eddie Guerrero in the WCW game.
Did it?
I
I have
swear
to
to God,
relook at
if you go through and play, you'll know what I'm talking about. He looks exactly like Eddie Guerrero in the WCW game.
it. I know that game's probably gonna come up
Oh,
too.
you bet your ass it's coming up.
Okay, but number 5 for me was the game that made it over Mario Kart, and I played this game so many times, and I'm talking about Diddy Kong Racing.
Newtown Racing.
Just such a fun game. I love the levels, love the characters, love the music. And what was cool about this, it wasn't open world, but you could drive to your next level.
Yeah,
And what was
that
cool is
lobby. It's kind of like a lobby almost, eh?
yeah,
Like,
it was basically like Mario 64 where you get to jump through the pictures, you got to drive to your little levels.
yeah,
There was so many different hidden Easter egg you can go this way, that way, this way. And don't forget that blue elephant. that fucking controlled the plot.
Taj, I still remember him. Taj.
Yeah. So there was just so many cool things. And what I loved about this game, it was about Diddy Kong. You could ask, "Where's Donkey Kong? Where's Donkey Kong?" This is Diddy Kong's. So it wasn't nothing to do with Donkey Kong. It was all Diddy Kong. You had Conker in there. You had a fun array of cool
Who was your
characters.
guy? Who was your guy in Diddy Kong?
I would use
Wait,
Conker, man. I would use
Conker?
Conker.
I was a Timber guy. You remember Timber?
Yeah, Timber, yeah, of course. But a great thing about this game compared to Mario Kart was you could use planes, you could use water vehicles,
Yep.
and then you had your race carts. So there was a lot of cool different things. And this game also had boss battles.
Yeah, I
So
forgot about that. I forgot all about that actually.
it was a fun spin on a kart racer that added in the little extras that made
Hmm.
it feel like you weren't always playing a kart racer. So at number five comes Diddy Kong Racing. I'm gonna give Diddy Kong Racing and I'm gonna give it an 8.3.
I like that. That's good. It's a pretty good
Yeah.
rating for that. Yeah, excellent game. Go get like Mario Kart, really memorable levels.
And
Uh,
again, none of it both we're not comparing them. They're both
no, no.
fantastic. They're both fantastic games.
I liked in Diddy Kong how like each circuit was themed. Like Mario Kart, you play the Flower Cup. The levels were just kind of randomly put together. Diddy Kong, you play like a circuit. It was the whole Dino circuit, then the
Yeah.
Winter circuit. You know what I mean? It was all the levels were themed throughout, but all different from each other.
Yeah, and then it changed the aspect of the game when you're in a you're in the water or you're in a plane. It just
Yeah.
changes the whole aspect of the game to change the dynamic to give you a better gaming experience. So a wonderful game Diddy Kong Racing is. When people talk about N64, they usually just bring up Mario Kart and kind of forget Diddy Kong and Mickey Speedway. But those are two fantastic racing games on the N64. And again, I wanted a racer here. I just said I wasn't a big racing fan, but I was also going to put Cruis'n USA because that was a
Glad
game
you
I
brought
played.
that up.
That was a game I played a lot as well, along with Extreme G. So, but this game, it just had that little bit of a linear kind of story mode, open world mode. Fantastic game. So number five, Diddy Kong Racing.
I wanted to ask you, when we're talking about racing games. There's one I never played, but I always heard was good. You ever played the Beetlebug racing game?
No,
Volkswagen Beetlebug racing game. And apparently it's really good for 64. I never
yeah,
played it.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't think I ever played it.
Yeah, that's one for me and you to both pick up.
Yeah, maybe one day we'll play. We'll get that game and we'll play it and do a live stream.
Stream it. And we'll do it from inside a Volkswagen Bug too. That was your
All
number
right,
five,
buddy.
right?
That was my number five. So you're number four.
No, I'm number five still. I didn't give you my number five.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, because I went after you. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
But we've kind of talked about it already. And my number five is going to be Tony Hawk Pro Skater, but mine's Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. This was the game I played more as a kid. Not going to get too far into it, but just going to
Yeah,
mention the couple differences. Just mostly the levels, same cast back again, a
absolutely.
slightly different appearances, basically updated course and new music. Um,
Great music.
Yes, yeah, that's what the two tracks always stand out to me. Gorilla Radio, Rage Against the Machine, May 16th, Lagwagon. I fucking love those tunes to this day. And yeah,
Yeah,
again, like we said it all. We covered most of it when we talked about the first game. But I think the one thing I didn't mention when we talked about it earlier was the game mode I love playing the most with my brother was Horse. Me and my brother would
yeah.
always play Horse. But
So
what
for
do we
your
rank
Tony
them?
Hawk experience, what was the character you used all the time? Was it just Tony Hawk, or did you have your?
I think I bounced around as a kid, to be honest. I think I used Tony Hawk. I think I used Bucky Lassick. I think I used Bob Burnquist. I think those were
Yeah,
mostly those three.
yeah.
And then I
I
think
used
later on when I played, I create a guy.
yeah, I used a lot of Chad Muska as well. I
Oh
like
yeah, I think I used Chad Muska as well. Yeah,
I like Chad Muska. He was the one with the boombox, right? When he was grinding.
yeah. And then I remember the third game he had like a backpack on. I'm like, oh, he's the
Yeah,
only guy with a backpack. I'm gonna use him.
yeah, I like Chad Muska. Those were the skaters that put skateboarding really on the map. So those guys, I know Tony Hawk gets a lot of credit, but those guys in that video game helped evolve that sport. into new heights that it never probably should have hit. But man, unbelievable games, Tony Hawk.
Yeah, excellent. I don't know. I'm not sure where I ranked the first one. I don't remember, but I'd be basically
Around the
equal
same.
ranking the second one about the same.
Okay, so my number four now. Again, a game that we're not gonna get into. This is an easier top 10 because we don't really have to explain much because everyone knows the games. But a game again, we talked about this little plumber jumping on blocks, going here, and all of a sudden he's 3D in an open world game with some of the funnest villains ever. Great characters all around, and I'm talking about Super Mario 64. What better game can have a better plot than Mario's invited to Princess Peach's castle because she baked him a cake, and then when he
Yeah.
gets there, she's been taken away and she's imprisoned, and Bowser uses the castle's 120 power stars. So just so fun. Very cool and innovative. Like we talked about, when you jumping through the pictures, you got through the levels. There's a couple hidden cool little things you can find here and there. Um, just a wonderful game. I don't really have to talk too much more
Oh,
about Super
did I
Mario
lose you?
64.
Oh, no.
One of the greatest games ever. I'm gonna give Super Mario 64. I'm gonna give it an 8.9 out of 10. I don't really have to talk too much about it. Only if you have something you want to say.
Yeah, no, not much more than what you covered. Just, I mean, perfect, really. I mean, as good as they could have done for Mario's debut on N64 in the 3D environment.
Yeah, and just you can just wander around and just fuck with the other characters. You can just throw the penguins off.
Yeah,
You can do
jump on
anything.
Goombas.
And that final boss scene when you're fighting
Oh,
Bowser and you're
by the
swinging him by the
tail.
tail.
What a
Oh my!
visual. What a
The
visual.
mu- the music is so perfect in that as well, man. It's just
The whole
unbelievable.
game is wonderful.
Dude, has there been an HD remake of
Yeah,
Super
I
Mario?
think they re-released at some point. Maybe not HD. Maybe I don't know. It's on. You can play it on Switch, but it might just be like might not be remastered or anything.
Yeah, that they need to remaster that. That would be
Wonderful.
so fun to play, man. What a wonderful game. Man, that was a launch title, was it not?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, fuck, man. You
Right.
can't beat that.
Imagine that launch title, Super Mario 64, Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, like GoldenEye,
Yeah, this
like
is one of the greatest games of all time.
unbelievable. Fuck. And if anyone's looking, my nails aren't dirty. That is ink from a pen. So just
Man,
point that out there. But
what an
Dan,
era in gaming, though. Fuck.
oh my goodness. But give me your number three. Let's dial them back in and give them
Number
another
four.
good
Number
one.
four.
Oh, I keep forgetting, man. Okay, number four.
Number four. Again, I'm not going to get into it too much because we already mentioned it. Pokemon Snap. The only thing I should bring up I didn't mention earlier was I had a pretty memorable, not even recent. It's probably like 5 years ago now. Playthrough with Gervais. Maybe it was longer than 5 years ago. Maybe like 6, 7 years ago. And me and Gervais went and played through this whole game and got the Pikachu riding on the Articuno that I
Yeah,
never got before.
you never had that picture before.
I never got that before.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like I said, there's so many cool little Easter eggs, and as a kid, like you just want it so bad. Doesn't matter how good the picture is, right? But man,
Yeah.
fantastic game. What's your rating for that for you?
I'll give Pokemon Snap an 8.3.
Yeah, it's such a great game for, like I said, when all these other games are so hard and difficult, and the controls are hard. This is just so smooth for a young kid to play, man. Such a great game. But
I'm
now
gonna
we're
play
in the
this
top. We're in the top three already. This is the quickest top 10 we've ever done.
Oh,
Oh, Dan's down, Dan's down.
I should. You
But
should knock on wood when you said this top three.
but number three is a game also, again, I'm not gonna say anything else about it. It's already been brought up, and that is GoldenEye 007. Just a fantastic fucking game. I'm giving this game a 9 out of 10. Revolutionized the shooters that we know it. Split screen play, unbelievable story modes, smooth controls, Just the perfect shooting game. I told you I recently just replayed it and it was as good as it was back then. Fucking beautiful, man. So number three for me, GoldenEye 007. Don't have to explain it. It already came up. It's probably on everybody's list.
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, absolutely. One of the best games of all time. So you're number
Number
three, right?
my number three. So you're number three, Dan. I think I know your top three.
Yeah, I think you actually you might not know one of them. I don't know. I definitely have talked about them all a lot over the years, but
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
my number three is a game
Superman
that
64.
hey,
Superman 64.
oh yeah, well that was one, two, and three. But if I ever got to those fucking rings. Well, anyways, my number three is probably actually definitely my favorite wrestling game of all time. WCW versus NWO Revenge of N64. A lot of people look at No Mercy as the best game on the 64. Fair enough, but there is No Mercy without this game. This game perfected the gameplay. No Mercy just came and fucking WWE got the rights and used the same engine with their guys.
Who made
Uh,
that? THQ?
yeah, THQ. When you go back, like I always looked at like, oh well, No Mercy. I guess they has the better roster. I go back, I look at this roster now. I'm like, God damn, this roster was fucking stacked. Like WCW
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
sucked by this point. Probably this is like late '97, going into '98. So the company was definitely starting to suck at that point. But it did not translate to the game. The game is awesome, and the roster is awesome.
Yeah. And the
But
entrances are awesome.
hey,
The entrances are
yeah,
awesome too.
yes, I think it's one of the first times you ever see managers in a wrestling game. I think I remember like Jimmy Hart's in it. I think Bobby Heenan's in it. Yeah, Bobby Heenan's in it, and so is Elizabeth. And
Is
Kimberly Page as well.
could you also grab weapons from the crowd in that one?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yeah. Chairs, stop signs,
Can
garbage
you give,
cans. Yes.
can you give me the La Parka dance?
Oh, I'm in my car running down. He would do the dance without the chair. I mean, I guess he
Yeah.
did the dance on the chair in reality,
Yeah.
but and then yeah, there's some like fictional characters in it. Like that was one of my go-tos, and a lot of my friends' go-tos was the ninja guy Hanzo Man. He was one
Yeah.
of the characters, and then of course because it's made by THQ and AKI or whatever, Aki or whatever. There was Aki Man. Aki Man
It's
was a
fun.
classic.
It's funny with wrestling games like Warzone is not
Oh,
the best game by any means, but to create a character is fantastic in Warzone.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like some later games modeled their creative character after Warzone, but God, the gameplay in Warzone was horrific. But it looked great. It looked great.
Yeah. So what are you giving WCW?
I think this game's pretty awesome. I think it's widely underrated and underappreciated because of No Mercy's success. I'd be willing to give this game an 8.4.
Good pick. You know what also is a good game too? WrestleMania 2000.
Yes, yes, same deal, same deal. Wrestle. I
Yeah.
think did WrestleMania 2000 come before No Mercy or
That might have been after it. It
right?
might have
Because
been
it's a lot like Revenge as
'cause
well.
was Big Show in the one? Well, the Giant was he in that game?
Yes, yes, John
Because I know Big Show was on the cover
of two.
of 2000, right?
Yeah,
But so my number two, it's also a wrestling game I played more than any other N64 game. It's not WCW, it's the one you're talking about, and that is No Mercy.
Mercy.
Man, I played this game so much. Obviously, you said it took kind of the blueprint and then it pushed it forward to give us what we know as the wrestling games we have today. I remember I used to play this game so much that my older brother somehow set up the TV and VCR, and he's like, "Hey, when you having a match, press this and it will record your match."
Oh
And
shit!
yeah, so I remember I'd have Royal Rumbles, cage matches, and then I would be able to record them, and then I would watch them back on the
That's
VHS.
awesome.
I don't know how he did it. It's probably so simple, but like I was a kid, right?
Yeah,
But man, such great characters on this game. The moves are good. The controls are very smooth. Um, Just a fantastic wrestling game. Like Dan said, it overshadows a lot of the great WCW games that were on the consoles. But if you ask anybody what their favorite wrestling of all time, most of them bring up No Mercy.
Yeah,
So, what'd you give WCW?
8.5.
8.5. I'm going to give No Mercy the same. I'm going to go 8.5. The reason why it's on number two, obviously, all the other games before us and your picks may be better, but I put in so much time in this game. There was nothing more in the world that I love than wrestling.
Yeah,
It was wrestling and skateboarding. I would come home every weekend. At that time, we'd go to Walmart every weekend, and I would be able to get a wrestling toy. And my collection was massive, and all I did was make pay-per-views, storylines, and it was so much easier because I was doing it also on the video game. I would
yeah,
write down pay-per-views and Raws, and I'd have people battling. I'd have my champions, and I would was able to record it thanks to my brother. So it made me play it even more. So what a great game! Also at that birthday party where we were playing Vigilante 8, we were also playing No Mercy.
yes,
So
yes, I do remember that.
yeah, so a great game that's ingrained in our souls. It might not be, I know it's not on your list, but you have a deep, love for it somewhere along with the
Absolutely.
WCW game. Uh, just a fantastic wrestling game. So I'm going to give it an 8.5, and No Mercy comes out my number two. So Dan, give us a recap. We've actually gone the hour we wanted to, which
Oh,
is
I still got two.
unbelievable.
I'm still at two.
Oh, I keep fucking
You
up.
get ahead of me.
And the problem is you went first and then you told
Yeah,
me to go. So
yeah.
go ahead. Give me your number two.
My number two
Hold
is.
on. If you don't say the one I know, then I know what your number one is. But go ahead and give your number
Oh
two.
yeah, I think you know my number one is. You know what my number one is already. My number two is a game that I know a lot of people don't enjoy for the same reason that I brought up with Mario Kart, which is people just are so look back so fondly at the original games on Super Nintendo or even the games before that. But my number two game is Donkey Kong 64.
That good game. And again, so recognizable with the yellow cartridge,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Like we know the yellow cartridge is Donkey Kong. We know the red is Spider-Man,
Mhm.
right? And Majora's Mask was gold, or what color was
Yeah.
Majora's Mask? If
Yeah.
I
I don't know. There might have been a gold version of Ocarina too. Like a,
I can't remember, but I know Majora's Mask was a different color though.
yeah. And Tony Hawk Pro Skater was blue, wasn't
Or
it?
blue. It was blue, yeah.
But yeah, fuck man. I love this game. You get to play as various different characters as you do in some of the earlier games. As a kid, it
Yes.
hooked me right from the beginning. That cool intro video. It's like a music video with all the characters.
Yeah.
I
And you got like the
love that.
grandpa, you got like the grandpa and shit.
But I just loved all the different levels. Still, again, like a lot of these games, it's about the environment of the levels, the soundtrack I loved as a kid, the way you can fast travel between places in this game. I think it was one of the first games I'd really seen where you could fast travel like that, where you could jump
Yeah.
into the barrel and just zap over to or jump into the barrel and automatically switch to another character. Yeah, just a lot of fond memories as a kid of memorable boss battles, memorable weapons, memorable puzzles that you had to solve. Overall, just I think kind of an underrated game. It was probably
Uh,
pretty hyped on release, and I think as
I
time's gone
agree.
on, it's grown to be underrated.
I remember going to it was a long drive as a kid from Innisfil to Windsor.
Oh,
Um Probably about a what, 3 hour?
maybe more than that. I think
Yeah,
it's
3.5. But we used to go from Innisfil to Windsor to my cousin's house. And they weren't very big gamers, but they had an N64 and they only had a few games. But the game I would put in all the time was Donkey Kong 64. So that was my summers for a little while, for about a week or two when we would stay up there. And I would just be playing Donkey Kong 64 when all the adults were up there, and then they would be begging me to come out. Yo, Chris, come swim, come swim, come swim. And then I'd finally go swim. But
I'm swinging
no,
on vibes, bitch.
yeah, that's it. But again, a very underrated game. I think, like you said, the Super Nintendo. Donkey Kongs are probably the more memorable ones for a
Yeah.
lot of fans. But Donkey Kong hits the N64 in 3D in a great way.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you could actually play the original Donkey Kong within it. I don't remember. Do you remember that? The one level you could go play the arcade machine and actually play the original.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Great. Rare always did little things like that.
yeah, they're always good for that kind of stuff.
That's
And
what kind of hurt us because we already talked about it when Xbox and Rare had that little partnership. A lot of these games they didn't pick up and bring out to the Xbox. Like it blows my mind.
yeah,
Like you have the rights to them. What the fuck are you doing? But
yeah,
anyway, what are you gonna give your number two Donkey Kong 64?
I'll give Donkey Kong 64 a strong 7.9.
Okay, see, not the highest rated game we had, but just for nostalgia and
Absolutely.
just playback and just what you reminisce of your childhood. It just brings it to number two.
Yeah,
Just like just how No Mercy's over all these other classics that really changed the culture of gaming. So did No Mercy though. So we're
yeah.
doing all right. I think we're doing all right with our list.
Yeah, I mean, I got Donkey. I don't even have Mario 64 on my list. It's a superior game to Donkey Kong in almost every single way. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, just memories and hours in.
But that's what we do here. We go off what we enjoyed playing. It's not what you say is the best. It's what not so much what the fans say, but the media says. We go off of nostalgia, playback, and just our memories, right? That's why,
Yeah,
like, if you watch our videos, UFC 2010, it's like
yeah.
so highly regarded to us,
That's
and
one of our favorite games of all time.
yeah, and I'm not gonna explain it because there's older videos, but you never know
The
if we
whole
ever do
episode,
our top 10 Xbox 360 games or something. That's probably gonna be in the top three. You know what I
100%.
mean? It might be number one or two for both of
It
us,
was our
right?
top
So
fighting game. It was both of our number one fighting games.
yeah,
Oh
so
no, or Def Jam ones, right?
Def Jam once. Remember, I forgot UFC.
Right, we forgot you. Yeah,
Okay, so let me give you a recap of my top 10 so far. So
you're
at number 10, Super Smash Bros. Number 9, Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Number 8, Vigilante 8. Number 7, Mario Party. Number 6, Pokemon Snap. Number 5, Diddy Kong Racing. Number 4, Super Mario 64. Number 2, No Mercy. And I know what yours is already because I know you and you probably know me. This is my favorite video game of all time. I don't care how many times it gets re-released. I don't care how many times it gets remade. Every single time it is fucking amazing. It takes me back to just watching my older brother play it and just watching him in awe of this amazing game. And then the main character grows up and I literally shit my pants because I was like, what the fuck is happening here? Yesterday he was small and now he's big. Like it changed the culture of open world gaming, and I'm talking about The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, one of the most beautiful games that was ever created. There's nothing
so
bad you can say about this fucking game. Again, it is hard as fuck when you don't have, a manual or whatever. You're trying to get through some of these levels and you're just, trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. But music is legendary. The characters are legendary. The challengers are legendary. Just a fucking fantastic game. And again, not to be outdone by the Super Nintendo that had A Link to the Past and even the NES. They were all fantastic games, but Ocarina of Time. That in memory is so ingrained in my mind of watching my brother play it and then seeing Link grow up. And then when I was able to play it, when I finally was able to figure out how to hold that N64 controller and go through the game, by myself, was amazing. And then when I got my 3DS, I got it again. And then I played it so many times afterwards. Just a fantastic game. And don't get me wrong, Majora's Mask is very
oh
good.
yeah, very good game.
Don't get me wrong. I know a lot of us put this game over it, but Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, fantastic.
The Michael Jordan of video games.
Absolutely. Give me your number one. Oh, I'm gonna give this game a 10 out of 10
Yeah,
because it's my
absolutely. If
favorite
there's
game of
any
all
10 out
time.
of 10s, it's this game.
All
So
right, buddy. Give
I will
us
give
your
you a
recap.
little recap. So at number 10, I had Smash Bros. At number 9, I had Star Wars Pod Racer. At number 8, I had Mario Kart 64. At number 7, I had Spider Man 64. Number 6, I had 007 Goldeneye. Number 5, I had Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Number 4, I had Pokemon Snap. Number 3, I had WCW versus NWO Revenge. Number 2, I had Donkey Kong 64. And at number 1, you know it already. Welcome to Dolphin Park, motherfucker. Wave Race 64. My favorite N64 game by a fucking mile. This is probably the video game this is the only video game that I ever felt like I fucking mastered. Before the online gaming, I remember going like playing this game back on emulators, playing this game when I got it down the line when I bought a 64 back when I was in college, I think, and going on the internet and comparing my time to people on the internet because I was so sure that I was a world class wave racer. I
Wait,
fucking love this game.
when we played this game at your house in high school, didn't Gervais or someone beat your ass and you were so angry, or beat you by fluke? I remember someone beat you,
Maybe. If he
and it
did,
was
it was a fucking fluke because I was a fucking shark at this game. Oh my god, this game legit is awesome. Like I don't understand. Like when I grew up, I thought everybody looked at this game as one of the best 64 games, and it wasn't until I got older when I'm like, wait, what?
yeah.
What do you mean?
But the
It's
one,
so clearly amazing.
but I think on a lot of top tens, this comes in at sneaky like number 8 or 9. So
Yeah,
a lot of the video game raiders really know this game is a fun, great game. So explain to
yeah.
us why you love it and the rating.
I think the physics of this game are really good. The way you bounce through these courses on the waves change on some of the levels depending on what lap you're on. The tide goes out on some of the levels. There's only just 4 characters to choose from, basically 2 dudes, a chick, and a fat guy, basically. Those are the characters, and yeah, it's all sea-doo racing, jet ski racing, the stand-up sea-doos, and you can go through the levels doing flips, doing barrel rolls, doing all kinds of tricks, hitting ramps. Kept under control by these buoys you have to go in between. It's similar physics to probably some of the water racing in Diddy Kong and stuff, but just overall, like a really playable racing game. It's probably my favorite racing game of all time. And definitely my favorite
Absolutely.
N64 game
So
of all
what are you
time.
gonna rate your favorite N64 game of all time?
Uh, I will give it a 9.1.
Fair enough. You love it.
I love
You
this
love
game.
it.
This is a
So,
fantastic game, and no one will tell me otherwise.
so guys, we gave you our top 10 N64 game. Maybe some are on your list, maybe some aren't on your list. But this is what games we loved growing up as our N64 games. Dan, give them our next episode and send them home.
All right, our next episode. We're thinking about talking about our lives a little bit, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about work-life balance of how um, we dealt with working at not so good companies to getting into the places we are now that we find happiness. So, an episode for everybody. I know everyone has a little bit of struggles. So I guess we'll just call it Open Book 2 because we already had Open Book 1, and maybe we'll get into a bunch of other life situations that we've dealt with over our course of making it to 30. So it should be a fun episode, and then we'll get back to a big banger episode, but we won't announce it now. Dan and I will talk about it and we'll see what we can come up with.
Yeah, definitely. So till next time, guys. If you don't like Wave Race, fuck you.
Later.
See ya.